Good morning, my friends. Beautiful July morning, about 8:15 in the morning, and there's no sun out, but it's cool and quiet, and I decided to come out and sit in the rock garden. We call it the rock garden because it's rocky on this side of the house, and mostly my succulents are growing here, and I want to talk about some of the succulents. Now in this video, it's going to be a little bit of everything. I want to talk somewhat about, well, it has to do with my or our mortality. You know, we are 86 years old, and it's not a morbid thing to think about, but it has something to do with a conversation that I had with Moosey the day before yesterday. And he was telling me the joy that he got out of our garden, the joy that he has when he comes outside and sits in the garden and listens to the birds and just watches the flowers. Honestly, I think they grow sometimes right in front of his eyes, including the tomatoes. And he gets so much joy out of that at this time of his life that I wanted to expand that a little bit. And as you know, I've been trying to do something with our patio over there, which has a lot of the bird seed and the paraphernalia that goes along with that, all the fertilizers and the gardening tools and soil and everything. And it's gotten very junked up. That was one area that when we had the dumpster day, where the kids all came and cleaned out my shed, and we had the big dumpster here, they filled it up, and all the children took things home that were let go from the shed. But at the time, the day ran short. It was my birthday, and we had to have a party, and so the patio was not part of that. And I think I'm getting to it. As you can see in the last video, I did clean a corner there by the little park bench. Yesterday, I spent some time in there raking out leaves and throwing out some of the old birdseed and things that I knew I wouldn't. I have to get tough with myself and start letting go of little things like old pots and little tiny seed pots to go. So I'm going to talk about the fact that I think we should do some things now while we're still able to enjoy these things. You know, when you think of it, and I don't mean to be morbid about this, we never know when we wake up the next morning if we're still going to be here. And as I get older, I probably think of that a little more, but as I said, not in a morbid way, because I am so grateful for the life that we have lived and the fact that we have lived so long to be able to enjoy our children, our grandchildren, all these wonderful great-grandchildren, and each other, and this whole little small world we live in right now. So, as I say, this video will have something to do with that, and it also has something to do with some books that Moosey and I did. 3 coffee table books with Shutterfly about 10 or 12 years ago, and that has to do with our posterity as well. We did these for the children, 3 parts. First book was about the ancestors. The second part was all about Moosey and I growing up in New Jersey. And the third part was the family from the time we got married to the present time, or at least 10 years ago. There are 1,000 photos in that last book. We had so much fun doing it. I want to talk about that too, because that is something that I think everyone should try to do. Maybe on a smaller scale if you can't handle a full year and a half of doing this, but it's your life. But it's all about your life, all about the history of our family, and it has to do with the same subject of doing something now that we can enjoy for the next couple of years and enjoy on our own. And it just has to do with this little world of ours right now. I did tell you all about the flowers. You saw our lovely garden and all our pretty flowers right now. And maybe you can understand the joy that Moosey gets out of it. I do too. So hang in there. There's a few other things I want to talk about. A little bit about some new makeup that I got. So stay with us if you think you want to just be here with us and enjoy the chit chat. 10 or 12 years ago, when I mentioned to a friend that I was thinking of doing something like this, she said, you know, you better hurry up and do it. I think I probably was, 75, 74 at the time. She said, you know, you never know. You might as well get busy and do it now. And she had written something herself when she was quite a bit younger. And she wrote a novel for her children and anyone else who might be interested. And it was probably an inch thick. And it was her memoir, basically, all about her life when she was a child and what she did. Very interesting person. But I thought to myself, if I wrote that type of a book, I don't think the kids would ever read it or get through it. And that's when I decided to do photographs, and there's a lot of copy in there explaining things, cute little stories and vignettes and things that I remembered about the children, what they said, what they did. And I even had each one of our 6 kids do 2 pages all about what they remembered in their childhood, and they submitted it to me and we did it. Part 1, the first book, is all about our heritage, and I just thank my mother and a first cousin who has since passed, and he was my mother's sister's boy, and he just most of his life really did save photos from Ireland, from the ancestors in Ireland that our grandmother came over with, and various other information. In fact, he did travel around the United States and collected a lot of information from libraries about the history of our family. So I'm so grateful for that. Plus, my mom, like me, was a shutterbug. And I have so many pictures, even going back to when she was 16, when she was a young girl and being courted by my dad. I have pictures in her lovely outfits. Now, she sewed, and I think I've told you that she taught me how to sew when I was 7 years old. And she made the most beautiful outfits in the 20s. I'd much rather enjoy something like this, which basically is a tabletop book. And this is the first one that I did, and colorful pictures all throughout. And this one I did kind of in black and white because it was about all the old ancestors in our lives. Now, half the book is Moosey's side and half the book is mine. And the second one was about Moosey and I growing up in New Jersey. And by the way, these are filled with photographs. And these pictures are all about our childhood. Oops, those were inserts. And these are basically pictures that shows a lot of our kids and our grandkids what we had then that they don't have now, or what we didn't have then. And these are all about what we like to do, just all the way up to and through college. When you go on to Shutterfly, they give you a format to follow and where to put pictures. You know, once you do a couple of pages, it's a snap to do. And Moosey and I did this together. He was the one that dug up all the photos from years ago and whenever. That was probably the hardest part of it all. But these are wonderful. And the last one has 1,000 photos in it, and it's all about our life from the time we were married in 1960 right up to the time when he finished, which included everything that the kids did, where we went, our travels, where we lived, all about the horse shows and the baseball games. The kids loved them. we gave each one of our children a set of these. There's 3 in the set, and several of the grandchildren wanted them too. And they keep them on their coffee tables, not all of them, but they've thoroughly enjoyed them, and we think this was the way to go. And I'll just do a quick run through just to show you some of these pages. And it goes sort of chronologically through here. There's lots of copy in here, funny little anecdotes and stories, things the kids did and said. And this one is about our family and all the children and grandchildren that were born at that time. Now, in the past 10 years, we have had a lot more great-grandchildren and even 2 more grandchildren that didn't make it into this book. And I'm thinking, should we do a sequel and kind of bring it all up to date? But in here is the life, our life, that we spent traveling with the children, moving to Scotland, moving to the San Francisco Bay Area, all the wonderful things that we did. It took us probably a year, maybe a year and a half to do these, and we had so much fun doing them. I still can't believe Moosey and I managed to pull this off and make these great books. The biggest thing is gathering all your photos and then getting them onto the computer. I'm so glad we did this, and I would suggest that thinking about mortality, I think it's a fun thing to do, and if you're at all thinking of it, try and do it in your earlier years, maybe 50s or 60s, and otherwise it would be a great thing to do in your later years, and your kids would love it. I did want to show you how some of my poppy pods are drying. I've saved them, and everything is dried up in the poppy bowl over there. I'm not getting poppies anymore, but this is how they're drying. Now they will eventually turn. These aren't as big as the ones I had last year, but this is my crop for next year. I will throw these seeds around. I'm sure some of them fell in the pot, but I had to cut down the stalks. They were drying. So this is the poppy progress. And as you can see, this bowl is my climbing or cascading, they call it, begonia. And at first I didn't think it was going well at all until I put it in the garden to get lots of water, regular watering with the sprinklers. And boy, it's taking off now. Has these little sort of shrimp colored flowers, and it's definitely called a cascading, yes, cascading begonia. A fun plant. I can't imagine it cascading, but that would come soon. Here is my boxwood. That is going to be my future topiary. And I think I mentioned to you that I was going for the single stalk, and I've showed you that. I will cut it up a little bit higher and replant it, of course, in the clay pot, but I'm not going to start trimming it until it gets a little more growth on it. I have another one that I think has a taller middle stem, and I think I'm going to try and do a double, what do they call it, the bowl, a double circular bowl on that one. I'm just all enthralled with it. Now, as I was going around the garden the other day, especially my rock garden here, I did discover that I had a succulent that looked like a topiary already, and let me get it. Look at this. Doesn't this look like a topiary already? This has been growing in my garden. Now it is a double stalk, but it still looks like a topiary. And these succulents grow like crazy. If you are a new gardener, and this is called sedum, this particular type, I have several of the different types of succulents growing in the garden, as you can see up here. And down here, I particularly like these roses. You can break off any succulent, pop it in dirt and it will grow. It doesn't need roots to grow. So if you can grow succulents in your area and you're a new gardener just wanting to start some things, pick up a couple of tiny little succulents in the store. The dollar store has them, and they will grow probably the best of any plant quickly too, and you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of that. So let's see. Well, as you can see, the sun has come out and it looks like my filming outside might be over for a while. Moosey came out a little while ago, and he is now having his egg McMuffin that I made for him with a little bit of salmon on top, having a nice Sunday morning breakfast. And I am going to go in and maybe make a salmon and cream cheese thing myself. So I will catch you inside, or maybe I'll show you what I've been doing on the patio. I think you've seen my overalls, my garden overalls before, but I'll step back and show you. I just love these. And by the way, they're nice and loose pants, so they qualify as cool summer fashion. So let me just show you. It's so cute. I did hem them, put a nice big cuff in them. I wanted them above the ankles. Pockets, cute little bib, and a little pocket up here. Now my headscarf, this is something that I used to do quite a bit a year or two ago. I haven't done it too much lately, but I do have a full headscarf where I cover the whole head. This is just done up along the sides, and then a nice big several knots. I guess there's maybe 5 knots up in there with the ends. You just keep knotting them and then tuck the ends in. And the scarf is one of these about this wide. The softer scarves are easy to work with rather than the taffeta ones. So as you can see, my knot is quite big on the top, and I just put my hair up, and it's a fun hairdo. My earrings today are the ponderosa pine needles that Billy and Bonnie's friends, one of their friends makes up in Bear Hollow Inn in Idaho. And I bought several of these from the lady at the time, and I just love these. I gave one of my pairs to Margie. So that's my outfit today, and my eyelet blouse that I also got a year or so ago. And I'm still wearing the straw sandals. I'm fixing Moosey his breakfast this morning. I made him some little eggs on toast with some cheese and some smoked salmon. Looks good. And I think I might make myself one now. I just came into the kitchen after I brought Moosey's breakfast out to him, and I decided to film this. It looks so good. I am having my English muffin with cream cheese and some capers, and then little cherry tomatoes from the garden. And then I'll be putting on some slices of red onion and salmon, smoked salmon. This is probably one of my favorite breakfasts ever, and I don't have it that often, but I can't wait to dig in. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of onions on. I like a lot of onions. Ooh, doesn't that look good? Yes. And take some of this salmon, quite a bit, and put some salmon on top. Look at that. Does that look yummy or what? I forgot to tell you about my ring. This ring was a purchase at the thrift shop. Where else? You're probably getting tired of me saying that. And I love the color. It's that army green, and I bought it several weeks ago. And it's just costume jewelry. But what it did was it sparked an idea in my head that I loved this color, And I went hunting through my wardrobe, and I did find a couple of things of this color. And one of them is one of these nice summer skirts that I'll show you. And I picked up a matching blouse. It's a really kind of a nice blouse that goes so well with it. And I will show you that outfit. I got the blouse in Walmart too. I was trying to take pictures of this outfit in front of some beautiful bougainvilleas and some magnificent hydrangeas up in front of Colleen's house, and it just wasn't happening. Now the skirt is an olive green, and by the way, did you notice how it matches the ring? And it's that olive army green, and it has a nice flare to it. It's very lightweight. Last week I found a shirt in Walmart that has little cuffs and buttons and tabs on the sleeves, and this I've lost somewhere up. I can't believe it. Look what I found down by my boobie. Oh. Anyway, it's a shoulder pad. If it looked like I had a stuffed boobie, my boobies are not that big. Thank heavens, they're nice and small. So there we go. I can't believe I've been filming with a shoulder pad around my boobie. It's just too hot to keep this up out here. But anyway, the outfit is pretty. The shirt has buttons down the front, a nice collar on it, and it does have a tie here, and you can pull it as tight as you can around your waist, or it even sort of goes down to your hips. So I thought that the color was beautiful and it would go nicely. I did have a straw bag here. You could wear it with a straw hat. And so this is my second outfit of the day, and the next video I'll put on one of those black outfits with a pretty straw hat, straw shoes, and a straw bag. But I just got a notice from Amazon that I had a delivery. I thought that this box was my second color gel, my eyeliner, and it's kind of a bronzy color, maybe even a little sparkly, but at least it's lighter. I don't know about the sparkles, but I'll show that to you. It wasn't this. This was something for Moosey in this box. And you know what he ordered? He's been asking me for months and months, and I keep forgetting. Do you remember my statue of St. Francis, who is the patron saint of birds and gardens and flowers? I had a beautiful statue that he had given me for a birthday present at least a year ago. And we had it on the bird bath, in the middle of the bird bath. For those of you who have never seen our St. Francis statue before, he's so beautiful. Here he is. He has a little bird bath here with a little bird on it, and down the bottom are animals of all kinds, little rabbits and squirrels and a doggy over here. But unfortunately it kept getting knocked off, and at one point his arm broke off, but I glued it. Something else happened, the head came off, but I fixed it. But I've been keeping it inside because I didn't want that to happen again, and we were trying to figure out how to keep it up there safely. Well, that bird that's on there now is a big heavy cement bird, so he won't fall. So Moosey found some waterproof epoxy, and I guess this is what I'm going to use to hopefully cement St. Francis back on the birdhouse, and that will make him, it's not on the birdhouse, bird bath, that's what it's called. So I will do that maybe tomorrow or the next day, and it's all with making the garden joyful and beautiful for Moosey and for myself. I think we pretty well managed to do everything in this video. It's only Sunday, so maybe I'll put this up tomorrow or Tuesday, and you might get 3 videos this week. We do have a busy week next week. Our anniversary is coming up next weekend. We're trying to decide what to do. We've decided we don't think we want to go out to dinner. We want to maybe have a cozy something here and maybe walk around an antique mall, a local one. Moosey has agreed to that now that he has his feather light wheelchair. He loves rolling himself around. Now, it's not electric. Several of you have inquired again, and I've given you the name of Cindy's company. Cindy and Matt have a medical supply company, and they can get anything and can ship anywhere. And also, any of Nanny's YouTube friends get discounts on anything. But that feather light wheelchair is wonderful. And if you want, you can, if you need Cindy's telephone number for information or anything like that, I will give it to you. Just let me know in your comment. I think it's time to go in. It's a Sunday afternoon, and I've already started some editing. You know, there was a problem in the first reel or two for quite a while as I was out here at 8:15 this morning talking. And at that time, it was still overcast and quite cool. And so the airplanes flying overhead, coming into the West Coast, were flying overhead just like there's one now. But as the sky started to get blue and the sun came out, they didn't fly so low. So I apologize for the airplanes. There's nothing I can do about them, about that sound anyway. Okay, I'm going in now. Sorry about the shoulder pad. I have to go in and check and see how big this boob was compared to the other one. Between that and the smudgies, it's Nanny coming to you in real life. I hope you enjoyed the video. Speaking of our mortality, it's not really a morbid thing to think of, really. Moosey and I have both been very fortunate to have been happy, have been together for so long, have this wonderfully big family that we've enjoyed. And I kind of feel as if we lived our life well, and because of my faith, I can look forward to eternity, hopefully happy. And I want to spend a little more time now these days, just trying to carve out time, as I said we have to do for certain things, that I'd like to think about my future more, my eternal future, and do a little more meditating and going back over my life and hopefully having led a good life that the good Lord might be proud of. So thank you so much for your wonderful comments. I'm so glad you're enjoying my garden. I love you all. Bye for now. We'll see you soon again, and God bless us all.